Hey everyone, just a quick word before we get started on this beer review. If you're interested in purchasing any of these beers that you see on my channel, stick around to the end of the video and I will tell you where you can purchase them at online. Now, isn't that lovely? Have beer shipped right to your home and don't have to go anywhere. All right, enjoy the video. Cheers to that. Welcome, my friends. Thanks so much for stopping by once again as we sample some more great tasting American craft beers with Dr. Dave. Fantastic, baby. Now, for our sampling pleasures and tasting delights today. Man, I got all excited when I saw this. And I said, oh, I'm going to tell you why in a minute. It's from the Islamorada Brewing Company. I know that's difficult to see there with that label and this lighting. Islamorada Brewing Company. It's out of Fort Pierce, Florida. But I thought it was from Islamorada down in the Keys because that's the biggest island in the Keys chain. Islamorada, and then eventually you'll come to Key West as you go south. But this is the Channel Marker IPA, described as a session IPA. Checks in at 5% alcohol by volume and the IBUs are 29. There's no date on here, but with this style of beer, it's not that important to have a date on here. There's a timestamp, but it doesn't tell me anything. Because a session IPA is not going to really deteriorate over time. Yeah, if you let it sit long enough, it's not going to be worth 2 cents, but there's not a lot of hops in here to begin with, so it's really not that important to drink it within that 90-day time period. Now, I just had a little accident there. You saw what happened. I was taking that top off and decided to fizzle up. Every once in a while, you get that. That's why I keep cloth napkins and paper towels in here. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this back off. I got dropped my coin, but I have another one here. Let's go ahead and get our bowl. I always keep a bowl in here. Let's put it in the bowl just in case she wants to explode. Yeah, some of these beers are like a radiator on a hot day after you've been driving on the freeway for a couple hours. Yeah. All right, well, here's our bottle cap. And let's go ahead and put that bowl down. And there's our beer. You see what happened there. We got little, yeah, you see how it's coming up? Mm. So when a beer is like this, I don't know what to think. Because generally speaking, a beer won't do that on its own. This beer could have been shaken in transit, or you never know. You just don't know. So we're gonna go ahead and pour it into this glass and see what happens. Oh man, now that's an interesting color for a session IPA. Usually session IPAs are very light in color, where this is a very dark amber color with we're going to call that a beige colored head. Yeah, it's a very dark beer for a session. Got some lively carbonation coming up. More malt in here than hop, which again is unusual. When you have this style of beer, you will generally have some hops in there, and I'm sure there are some hops. But the only thing is, you know what? There's no date on the label, so we really don't know how long this beer's been sitting around. But we're gonna go ahead and drink it. But before we do, we're gonna thank the brewers at Islamorada Brewery out there in Fort Pierce, which is on the east coast of Florida. Many cheers to them, and cheers to you at home. It's got a lot of malt in there. Like I said, it's got quite a bit of malt. Now, a lot of times, what happens is if a beer has been sitting around just a little bit too long, wherever in the warehouse or wherever it was, sometimes the hops will diminish completely and it'll turn into a malt style beer. And that's what could happen with this. Now, there is a lot of carbonation here. Let me drink a little bit more and I'll tell you. That beer has quite a bit of carbonation in it. Although it's not off-putting to me, I'm just making note of that. It is leaving some lacing here on the side of the glass. I've never seen a beer, a session ale rather, this dark. Yeah, it can happen, but I've never seen one. Most of the time, a session ale is very light colored. I've never had one this dark, and I've had plenty of session ales in my time. I mean, it tastes fine, but it's mostly malt. It's mostly malt. I don't get any hops in here at all. Again, this is from the Islamorada, a brewing company out of Fort Pierce, Florida. And this is the Channel Marker IPA described as a session ale. So I'm not going to say anything bad about the beer. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But to me, it's just a little bit overcarbonated, and it's all malt. There's absolutely no hops in here at all. And if you've had this beer, let me know about your experience with the beer. I'd be very interested to know about it. I'm probably not going to finish this beer, but I like the color on it. It's very interesting color for a session ale. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out of here. But remember, life is short, be happy, and you got to try new things before you know if you like them or not. Now, if I went to the brewery in Fort Pierce, Florida, and had this beer, probably be a completely different experience. But with bottles and cans, you don't know how they're stored, you don't know how they're shipped, you don't know anything about the life and the travel of the beer. This beer could have been exposed to very high heat, or it could have been exposed to light, because remember, it's in a bottle and light will affect the beer. So I'm not going to say anything critical about it, but let me know if you've had it. Let me know what you think. In the meantime, until we meet next time, if you like this beer, be sure to tell me. But I tell you what, until we meet next time, here's wishing all of you the very best of goodbyes. And as always, cheers. Okay, everyone. As promised, Dr. Dave's going to tell you where he buys his beers and where you can buy them also. First on the list is rivalrybrews.com. Now, don't worry, I'm going to put the links in the description box for you. Rivalry Brews is a relatively new mail order place. It's based right here in Ohio, in Medina, and they are fantastic. I tell you what, when they first started, I got free shipping on all the beers. Now I think they charge me $2. $2 for 12 beers. That's fantastic. Now, as far as I know, they ship to the lower 48, but you might want to check the website on that. I can't be 100% sure. But the shipping is fast. The turnaround is fast. And if anything's wrong, they will fix it right away. I only had one issue with them, and they refunded half my purchase order, which I thought was more than fair. More than fair. So anyway, by the way, disclaimer, I don't get any money on any of this. I'm not affiliated with any of these beer companies. They don't know I'm doing this. I'm just telling you where to buy the beer. Now, one day I may be affiliated, and if I am at that point, I'll certainly let you know. So, Rivalry Brews, located right here in Ohio, they specialize in Ohio beers, beers from Pennsylvania and Indiana. So, if you want some good Ohio craft beer, that's a good place to start. The second one on my list, oh, I love this place. It's called Halftime Beer. Halftime Beer has two locations in New York State, Poughkeepsie, and I believe it's pronounced Mamaroneck. Mamaroneck. Yeah, don't quote me on that pronunciation. I tried my best. Yeah, anyway, they have more beer online than you could possibly look at in a day. I'm telling you, they have beer everywhere on that website. And all you have to do is go on there, make your selection, and have it shipped. Now, they do have gift boxes, which come with a really nice cooler. Yeah, and you can't beat it. It's $5 shipping on those special orders. Now, on the other beers, the shipping can get a little bit pricey, but I've never had an order for more than $20 shipping, which I think is really good for 12 bottles of beer. Now, if you get cans, it's less cost because it weighs less and that's what costs the money is the weight and the size of the box. So, yeah, check them out. Now, I belong to two of their what's known as Beer of the Month Club. I'm in their German Beer of the Month Club, so I get 12 bottles from six different breweries, two of each, once a month. And there's a lot of beers in there that I've never heard of from Germany. I thought I had them all, not even close. And then I have the Around the World Beer Club, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's beers from all over the world. So far, I only got one beer that I didn't really like. It happens. It happens. And, you take your chances on that. But I got some beer from South Korea, of all places, South Korea. I thought it was really, really good. Now, last on the list, but not least, and I didn't put these in any particular order, it's the Best Damn Beer Shop. Now, they're out of San Diego, and they have a killer selection. I'm telling you. Matter of fact, talking about all this beer, I'm going to have one here. Mm, that's just a regular run of the mill Pilsner, German style, but it hits the spot on a day like this. Anyway, Best Damn Beer Shop. Woo! Now, their shipping, they require you to choose in lots of six. So you can get 6, 12, 18, 24 is the maximum. And their shipping is reasonable considering I'm on the East Coast and they're on the West Coast. Yeah, the shipping is generally about $19 for a 12 bottle selection, which I don't think is a lot. $19? No, I don't think that's a lot. Now, the more beer you buy, the less money it's going to cost. That's just a fact of economics. So if you want to buy six beers, it's going to cost more to ship it than the 12. Hey, I don't make the rules, man. Just buy more beer. You save more money on shipping. What can I tell you? Yeah, but they're a great place, and so all three of those places, Rivalry Brews for Ohio beers, and then you have the Halftime Beverage, which is in New York. They have a selection on everything, and same thing with Best Damn Beer Shop. Now, if you want some West Coast beers that you can't find in your town, that's the place to buy them at. Last but not least, people always ask me, what is that on your beer glass? Well, I bought it at Amazon, Amazon.com. It's called a vacuum vin. Vacuum vin. And if I'm not mistaken, it's from Sweden, if I'm not mistaken. And the inside of it is lined with special material. So what you do is you put this in the freezer, you let it sit overnight, and then you put your beverage in here, and it will maintain that beverage at around 38 degrees, which is really cold for a beer. But I like my pilsners cold. Now, if you already have a beer that warmed up, put it in here and it'll bring it to the proper temperature, no doubt. And I said last, but I was mistaken. This is the last thing I want to talk about. Dr. Dave's beer glasses. Now, I did sell these a number of years ago when I had my other beer channel. And this is a new design, though. This is a different design. Now, I could sell these if there's enough interest in them, but I have to order them about 144 at a time. So I don't want to order them unless there's some real interest in them. Now, it's difficult to see on here, but it says Dr. Dave's cheap ass beer reviews. Yeah, it's not really going to come out that well there on the camera. But I would sell these at cost. Now I'm not trying to make any money on them. I think it cost me 14.98 to have those made. So I would sell them at the same price. Now I don't know, the price could have gone up because I did buy those a few years back. So, but I would sell them at cost if anybody's interested. But like I said, I don't get any money off these links. There's no affiliate links here. I'm not making any money. I just wanted to let everybody know where I buy my beer so you could buy it too. Oh, and I almost forgot the Amazing Clubs Beer of the Month Club. Amazing Clubs. I'll put all the links in the description box. Knock yourself out. Hey, thanks for watching, okay? And Dr. Dave says cheers to that.